Hello friends, my name is Leigh and I create videos about photography as an art and as a lifestyle. Nikon introduced the Z mount in 2018 with 2 full-frame or FX bodies and 3 lenses. Over the years, they have continued releasing new Z mount gear, filling out the full-frame system with quite a few camera bodies and lenses. But what about DX or APS-C bodies and lenses in the Z mount? There are many of you out there that have told me that you have been waiting to go from your F mount body to a Z mount body for a Z mount body similar to the D500, which was a very fast and advanced APS-C body for F mount, Nikon's legacy mount. While there isn't a comparable body in terms of speed yet, there are currently 3 DX Z mount bodies along with a few lenses specifically designed for DX. But something important has happened. Nikon released 2 new lenses that will be the tipping point for a lot of DX shooters and which may talk you into the system if you've been on the fence. This is the DX 16-50mm f2.8 VR and the DX MC 35mm f1.7. I have been waiting for these lenses to be announced, especially the zoom, and I suspect many of you have as well. In fact, these 2, along with the DX body of your choice, is probably the dream kit for many of you. I'll get back to this in a moment. Before I get into the lenses themselves, let me talk DX. Why do some folks prefer it over full frame? Some of the reasons that folks like APS-C bodies are size. Both the bodies and lenses tend to be more compact. Prices tend to be lower than full frame. That's obviously a draw. And the 1.5x crop of APS-C is attractive for sports and wildlife photographers in terms of their workflow. I myself own the Z52 to use when I want to carry something more compact or as a second body, often capturing B-roll with it for my videos. Back to the lenses. Let's take a closer look. What we have here is a classic mid-range f2.8 zoom lens and a normal prime lens. These are 2 types of lenses that are coveted by a large portion of photographers. For an APS-C photographer, that looks something like around this 16-50mm with the capability to use f2.8 throughout the range. And then a prime lens around 35mm. Those translate in full frame equivalent terms to around 24-70mm f2.8 and 50mm f1.7. If you want more information on crop factors and general photography terms, I do have a completely free comprehensive course on the basics of photography. I will link to that in the description of this video. The reason these lenses are a common pair is that they offer you a lot of flexibility. You have your mid-range zoom that can be used for anything from landscapes to street photography to portraits to weddings and events. And you have the wide f2.8 aperture so that you can not only maintain a relatively shallow depth of field throughout the zoom range, you also get the extra light onto the sensor, which helps with image quality and even with focusing speed. But generally, a mid-range zoom has some size and weight to it, so a prime lens is great for experimentation, for general walking around, and for portraits. And you typically have an even wider aperture, in this case, f1.7. Looking at the 16-50mm f2.8 VR first. While it is a similar type of lens to the 24-70mm f2.8s for FX, it is not an equivalent lens because it is not in the S line, which denotes their high-end optics and build. It is also not like the DX 17-55mm f2.8 for F mount in terms of build quality. That lens was also produced when the D2X and other pro bodies were DX. But this new lens does match up well with the Z52 and other Nikon Z DX bodies. You can see from these photos and time-lapse from a Grand Canyon sunset that the image quality is stellar, as all Z lenses are. Plus, it has the addition of vibration reduction, which is really nice because the Nikon Z DX bodies do not have in-body image stabilization. This lens is also nearly $2,000 less than the FX mid-range f2.8 zoom. And while I would love Nikon to produce an S-type mid-range f2.8 zoom for DX, there really isn't a body to match, at least not yet. I should say here that the image quality, durability, and weather sealing is still very, very good on Nikon's non-S lenses in the Z mount line. Even the DX 16 to 50mm kit lens offers amazing image quality. And moving on to the 35mm f1.7. Again, this provides a normal field of view, which I often recommend as a first lens after you purchase your initial camera and kit lens. I captured some photos of Raymond working with our RC trucks. One of our goals this year is to take more casual family photos like this. Now, this lens is not a direct equivalent to the FX 50mm f1.8S lens, though the effective focal length and the aperture are very similar, because it again does not have the S marker. As we've come to expect from all of the Z mount lenses from Nikon though, the image quality is stellar. What a treat to have such a compact and capable setup ready for anything. And I know that a lot of you will like the fact that this is also a macro lens. You can focus very close with it. Now, am I suggesting that you absolutely need to have these two lenses in your Nikon DX kit? No, you could use just the kit lens and be completely happy. Maybe you actually prefer a wider prime lens or a telephoto lens. Only you can decide what gear is right for you. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I think these two lenses will be very popular. I am definitely interested to see how the Z system continues to unfold, especially in the area of APS-C. But what about you? Have you been waiting for lenses like this, like I have? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to Nikon for allowing me to borrow these two lenses, and thank you for watching.